students. So today we're going to learn from the section poetry, section 2.4 poem, Have You Earned Your Tomorrow? Okay. This poem is written by the poet Edward Guest. Edward Guest was an American poet. He was very popular during his first half of the 20th century. In his poems, we see generally inspirational and optimistic views of life, and therefore he is known as, very popularly, he was known as people's poet. Well, now let's talk about the title of the poem, Have You Earned Your Tomorrow? This title of the poem is marked as a question directed towards the readers. In this poem, there are four stanzas. In this poem, there are four stanzas, and if you see, the stanzas are divided in so beautiful way. There in each stanza, we find certain questions, okay, either 2 or 3 questions, and each questions makes the readers, it probes the readers towards his treatment to others, okay. So this title of the poem also relates to the saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. You all must have heard about this saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. It says that if you do a good actions in your present, definitely you're going to earn your better tomorrow. You might have heard in this, there was a farmer's poetry in the last year in the class 11th, and there we had learned about it, that if the farmers does his sowing very good today, definitely he is going to yield a better result tomorrow. So somewhere or the other, this poet is also giving us a message that if your actions, your behavior, your character is very good today, definitely you're going to earn a very better tomorrow. जैसा करोगे वैसा पाओगे, जैसा बोओगे वैसा पाओगे. So it goes with the same. So now let's come to the explanation part of the poem. There are 4 stanzas in the poetry, and each stanza has 4 lines. Each 4-line stanzas are known as quatrain, and if you can see, the stanzas are so beautifully designed that in the first, almost in all the stanzas, the first and the second line has a question, and also the 4th line has a question. And each question makes the readers ponder over how his behavior should be, how his character should be, and how important it is to spread happiness around. Okay, so now let's come towards the first line of the poem. Is anybody happier because you passed his way? Does anyone remember that you spoke to him today? So now the first one, is anybody happier because you passed his way? When you think about your life, when you really be happy when you meet someone? Okay, the person be very happy when you meet some good person, or the person who has a very good behavior, he has a very good character, who is very kind in his gesture. When you meet such person, you be very happy. So here the poet somewhere gives us a message that we should be such kind of a person that if somebody meets us, we really spread happiness in their life. So is anybody happier because you passed his way? Now, it's very important to note that probably it's been said that the speaker here is the poet himself, and you is the reader. Okay, and when you say his is a stranger. Stranger means the person whom you meet or whom you come across in your day-to-day life. So the second line says, does anyone remember that you spoke to him today? So now again, we meet so many people in our daily life. But when do we remember someone after meeting? Though it's not that every person is noteworthy to be remembered. For example, you may assume that you have met up an uncle, and you are so happy that uncle has such a good qualities in him. He is so kind-worthy, he is so kind-hearted that you do not forget to mention when you go home to your parents that Papa, Mama, I just met that uncle, and that uncle is also so familiar with all the family members that even they get very happy when they come to know that my daughter or my son has met that person. So we should, the poet says that we should have such qualities that the person remembers us the end of the day. Okay, that means we should have such qualities in us. We should be so kind in our gesture that the person, we are worthy enough to be remembered at the end of the day. So is anybody happier because you passed his way? Does anyone remember that you spoke to him today? This day is almost over and its toiling time is through. This day is almost over. This day, this means that the present day. Today is almost over. That means now we have come to the end of the day after your toiling time. Toiling time means it says that the physical hard work. Okay, so that means after your working hard working day, now the day has come to an end. Is there anyone to utter now a kindly word of you? So at the end of the day, okay, when the day gets ended up, you should ask to your own self, have you done single such actions, or have you met up or you made any person to get a smile on his face, or you helped the person in such a way that he remembers you at the end of the day? He has a certain kind words for you. We should have such qualities in us, or we should spend our day at least in such a way that one person be making us around us very happy. So this was the first paragraph where the poet gives us the message that characteristic traits that is very important in us. Now let's come to the second paragraph. Did you give a cheerful greeting to the friend who came along, or a churlish sort of haughty and then vanish in the throng? Okay, so again let's see this. Do you give a cheerful greeting to the friend who came along? So here he tells about probably there might be a friend who comes and approaches you, and that person probably would be very upset or maybe in distress because of some kind of a disturbances, or he may have some kind of a problem. So how is your behavior towards him? Okay, are you cheerfully greeting him? Did you give a cheerful greeting to the friend? Okay, have you just gave a when he met you? Did you welcome him very nicely? Did you behave with him in a very good way that he is very happy at the end? Finally, he feels very happy and he feels that his problems is getting it solved. Or how was your behavior? Was it the other way? That is a churlish sort of a haughty. Churlish means rude, okay, and howdy is nothing but it's just an impolite way, or it's like impolitely you are just ignoring that person, or you are just saying in a very quick hello. Howdy can also be said as a quick hello. So how is your behavior? Was it a very good one? Was it very cheerful? Or were you a churlish? That means very rude to that person just because you are very busy, and just because you may just see that there are certain kind of a people. Some people, just in spite of their busy schedule, in spite of their number of works to be done lying it ahead, they never think about all those, and they are very warm, they are very friendly, or they are very welcoming to the others people who are in a problem. And you may see other kind of a people also, you may meet up with other kind of a people also who is so rude and who is so selfish that they do not even bother, and they just try to ignore. They pretend that he hasn't looked at him, just pretend that he hasn't noticed him, and he just passed on with his way. So what kind of a person you are? Are you the first type who are welcoming, who is welcoming his friend who is in a problem in a cheerful way, or you are just rudely ignoring him, pretending to not to notice him? What kind of a person you are? And then vanish in the throng. That means you just pretend that you haven't looked him, you pretend that you haven't noticed him, and you just carry on with your work. Were you selfish, pure and simple as you rushed along the way, or is someone mightily grateful for a deed you did today? So as I said in the first two lines, he has said about how you dealt with your friend problem. Okay, were you so selfish that you just ignored him, did not pay attention to his problem, or was it so grateful, or was it in such a way that the person really feels, your friend feels that you are really grateful and he remembers you in a very cheerful way? So what kind of a person? So here in the second paragraph we can say that the poet is telling us is just your behavior towards the other people. How kind you should be when somebody approaches you, irrespective of your busy schedule, irrespective of your hard toiling working day. You should not think that you should always remember that even this is your primary duty to help someone. So now we are going to move towards the third paragraph. So now now we just discussed about paragraph 1, stanza 1 and stanza 2. Now let's move towards the stanza 3. Okay. Can you say tonight in parting with the days that is slipping fast, that you helped a single brother of the many that you passed? So So here again the poet is asking us a question, is making the readers think about his treatment towards others. So can you say tonight in parting with the days that is slipping fast? So if you notice this, here somewhere there is a symbolism, okay. Here when you talk about tonight, that is end of the day, it also symbolizes about the death. As we all know, with each passing day we are nearing towards our death. So the days which are passing out, it's like each day of your life, we all know that it doesn't come back. So it's all slipping fast, the poet says. Can you say tonight, okay, so the end of the day, when you are going to sleep, that you helped a single brother of the many that you passed. Though as he said that we meet many people, but among this many people, is there a single heart, single person whom you feel at the end of the day that you have really made someone happy, or that person is really going to have a kind words for you? Is a single heart rejoicing over what you did or said? Does a man whose hopes were fading now with a courage look ahead? So is a single heart rejoicing? So again here the poet says that no, he's not talking about each and every one whom you meet, that we need to we need to be so good to every. It's not that to each and every one we need to deal with the problem. Of course it is not possible. But is there even a single, at least there should be a single person on your everyday that whose heart is rejoicing over our actions, over our deeds, over what we did to that person today? Does a man whose hopes were fading now with courage look ahead? So the person who is in distress, the person who is very sad, the person who is in lots of problem, so who was losing his hope, did you pass any kind of a courage to that person? Did you give or did you provide any kind of a hope to them? So okay, so you should ask to yourself, does a man whose hopes were fading now with courage look ahead? So have you given any kind of a courage to the man, so that he is getting it motivated, courage, he is feeling it good to deal with his problem, and he is courageous enough to face the problems of his life? Now let's come to the last paragraph. Did you waste the day or lose it? Was it well or sorely spent? Did you leave a trail of kindness or a scar of discontent? As you close your eyes in slumber, do you think that God would say, you have earned one more tomorrow by the work you did today? So here at the end of the poem, if you just see, there is a theme of religion, there is a theme of God. Here somewhere the poet is connecting us to the Christianity, and in many of the poems we see this kind of a theme in the poem. Here in every religion says about happiness, every religion says about spreading of happiness, spreading of peace, about brotherhood, making people happy, spreading the happiness everywhere. So even here the poet says about the same. Did you waste the day? So you just, did you waste the day or lose it? Was it well or sorely spent? So what do you say about to yourself? Did you waste the day or lose it? It means that you haven't done any such thing which was been mentioned before. That means you haven't feel any such thing. You haven't feel that आज आपको बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने किसी की help की. आपको ऐसा भी नहीं लग रहा, नहीं, that person has approached me, but just because I was so busy, my friend approached me, but just because I was so busy, मैंने उसकी help भी नहीं की. So if you haven't done any such thing, you haven't helped that, or you haven't just helped the person who was needing you, you haven't behaved very well, or you were not so kind enough to the persons around you, that means you have wasted the day or you have lost it. So here the says, what did you waste the day or lose it? Was it well or sorely spent? But if you have done all the good things, if your behavior was good, if you are very kind to the person, you really dealt in spite of your busy work, you just helped your friend, you just helped to deal with his problems, then your day you spend it is very well. That means the present day of yours is that you have done a good thing. Did you leave a trail of kindness or a scar of discontent? Discontent matlab unhappiness, dissatisfaction. So did you leave a trail of kindness? Okay, so were you kind to the people around you? Were you kind even to the single heart? As you close your eyes in slumber, do you think that God would say, Have you earned one more? You have earned one more tomorrow by the work you did today. So here, friend, students, God is nothing but your inner voice. Okay. So while here he also says that everyone should have the habit to recall the complete day, to recall all the things you have done, all your actions in a day during the end of the day. That is when you go to sleep, before getting it into the slumber, everyone should have the habit of recalling the things which we have done. And while recalling the things, if you feel very yes, there was a smile which I brought on the people's face, or there was someone whom I really been very kind to it. If you feel, yes, I have done such thing, then in your present day you have done such thing, then definitely you have earned your tomorrow. The poet says, that means the poet gives us a message that our treatment toward others should be very good. Our behavior towards others should be very good. We should be very kind to all the persons around us. And if we have done all those things, then definitely we have earned a very wonderful tomorrow. Okay, so I hope students, you all have understood the explanations. They all have understood complete 4 stanza of the poem. As I said, it is 4 stanza with each 4 lines, that is quatrain. And if you notice, in all the 4 stanzas, the rhyme schemes are A, B, B. Okay, so this was the explanation of the poem, Have You Earned Your Tomorrow, written by Edward Guest. Thank you.